Hi again guys, and welcome to episode 45 of D.A.R.C, or Does Anyone Really Care? The review series for appreciation really of cars which are for the most part underloved on Gran Turismo, primarily Gran Turismo 6. So in this episode we are featuring, as you can see, the Hyundai Click Type R, which as far as I'm aware has the distinction of being the cheapest fully fledged racing car in the game at 10,000 credits, brand new. So it's an extremely cheap car, and it is a proper little racing machine. It's presented as being an entry level or beginner level racing car, kind of to teach you the basics of racing, and it's very good for that. It's a front engine, front drive car, unsurprisingly, and fully tuned it's pretty quick and more powerful than you might think. Now, fully tuned, this car's PP is 484, and I would say it's actually really well placed at that PP. It works well at that PP, and it's also highly competitive for the 475 PP category and even the 450 PP category. Now, fully tuned, this car puts out a pretty respectable 276 brake horsepower. So you're putting out roughly the same power as a stock Honda NSX in something that only weighs 830 kilos. So lighter, or as light as a Lotus Elise. So pretty good power to weight ratio. It's, as we said, a proper little racing car, and it's a beginner level racing machine, which often are characterised by being quite easy to drive and have very good handling, and this car is no exception. It has tons of grip, the brakes are, not surprisingly, very, very good, and although obviously with so much power going through a lightweight front-wheel drive chassis, there is some wheel spin, and you don't really want to floor it coming out of some corners. You can take a lot of corners without using your brakes at all, as you'd expect from a small cup car type vehicle. But this is running more power than your average cup car like the Lupo GTI or that type of vehicle. So you do need to be a little bit more cautious with the throttle. Now, it's not going to slam you into a wall. It may have the power of an NSX, but it's not a challenging car to drive in by any means. But you do need to take more care with the throttle than with many other small hatchbacks, because at the end of the day it is running quite a lot of power for a small car. In terms of performance, in a straight line, well, obviously off the line you do get a bit of wheel spin because of the front wheel drive chassis, but overall the acceleration is pretty respectable. I'm not sure in terms of what it could beat in a straight line, because to be honest I haven't used it in a drag race, but I should imagine it would beat many other small hatchbacks at the very least. In terms of top speed, you're looking around the 160, 170 region top end, so it's pretty quick for a Hyundai, especially a small hatchback Hyundai. And overall it's a pretty great little car to drive, and I would say the best advantage about this car is its price, because at 10,000 credits it is ridiculously cheap for a racing car. So overall, would I recommend trying this car, and who would I recommend it for? Well, yes, I would definitely recommend it, because let's be honest, at the end of the day, it's so cheap that even if you never use it again or end up not being impressed by it, it's not a lot of money to have potentially wasted. And even then, it's not really a waste, because it's the kind of car that you can always build for some PP specific form of racing, say front wheel drive, low PP or something like that. In terms of who I would recommend using it, I definitely recommend it to people who like racing small hatchbacks like K cars, or like I said earlier, the Volkswagen Lupo cup car. It makes a very good rival for cars like that. It could potentially be a pretty good rally car as well. I haven't actually tuned this one to be a rally car, so I'm not sure how it would perform, but I think it would perform pretty well. And the only word of caution I would say with this car is to be careful of curbs, because it does kind of like lifting its wheels around corners, and if you're not careful you can flip the car over, so you just need to be a bit careful of that, and softening up the springs does solve that for the most part. So overall I'd definitely recommend trying this car out at least once. It's very fun to drive and has excellent handling. And that's it for this episode. So I'll see you guys next time. And as always, thanks for watching.